My presentation is Dies Domini, which is an encyclical of the Catholic Church on the Lord's Day. It was written by Pope John Paul II and was issued on a Sunday, July 5th, 1998. Important teachings. To keep the Lord's Day holy, Sunday was obligatory. The solidarity of the Church on the Lord's Day. Good works on Sunday. Sunday is a day of rest and to avoid unnecessary labor. Holy days and feast days. Background of the Lord's Day. Keeping the Lord's Day holy was not considered obligatory for the early Christians. They celebrated Mass because it was a covenant with it written on the human heart, and they understood the covenant. Due to half-heartedness and negligence of the faithful, the Church had to make Sunday Mass a precept. Code of Canon Law of 1917 required the faithful to attend Mass on Sundays and other holy days of obligation. The Sabbath precept is within the Decalogue, which is the 10 words which represent the very pillars of the moral life inscribed on the human heart. The Church wants all the faithful to keep the Lord's Day holy, and the pastors have a duty to offer the possibility of fulfilling the precept. Keeping the Lord's Day holy. Sunday is a celebration of the mystery of Easter, Christ's victory over sin and death, and the fulfillment of creation and the dawn of new creation. Christ's resurrection is a fundamental event on which Christians rest their faith. We are called to remember the work of God, which is creation. Sharing the Eucharist is the heart of Sunday and the remembrance of God's saving work in creation. Pope John Paul II highlights the low attendance of the faithful at Sunday Mass, which diminishes the sense of solidarity and the praise we give to God. One cannot live their faith or share fully in the life of the Christian community unless they take part in the Sunday Eucharistic Assembly. Solidarity of the Church. Sunday gathering has been, for Christians, a moment of fraternal sharing with the poor. As St. Paul says, on the first day of the week, each of you is to put aside and save whatever extra you earn. Christians have the duty to make the Eucharistic place their fraternity, where fraternity becomes practical solidarity. Christians also have the duty to do good works. Good works on Sundays. In doing good works, the faithful become one with Christ. Sunday gives the faithful the opportunity to devote themselves to works of mercy, charity, and apostolate. The Eucharistic celebration does not stop at the door. Christians are called to evangelize and bear witness in their daily lives. To experience the joy of the Christian Lord within it is to share fully the love which pulses in his heart. There is no joy without love. Christ performs healings on the Sabbath, not to violate the Lord's Day, but to reveal the true meaning. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Christians are called to rest on Sunday, but doing good works is an essential part of the Sunday rest. Day of rest. God worked for 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. The divine rest of the seventh day does not allude to an inactive God, but emphasizes the fullness of what has been accomplished. Christians rest on Sunday because it was made holy and blessed by God. Sunday should not be mistaken as a part of the weekend. When mistaken, Sunday loses its fundamental meaning. The custom of the weekend is that of time spent away from home and involved in activities. Sundays are not a part of the weekend in this sense. Keeping the Lord's Day holy and the weekend understood as the time of simple rest and relaxation is a sign of spiritual maturity. Activities can become a burden. By this regulated rest, it is easier to keep the Lord's Day holy. Feast days. In celebrating the annual cycle of the mysteries of Christ, and the Church venerates the Blessed Virgin Mary. In a similar way, the annual cycle commemorates the martyrs and other saints on the occasions of their anniversaries. Feast days are of such value to Christian life. The Church makes it obligatory for the faithful to attend Mass and observe a time of rest. The Church proclaims the Easter mystery of the saints who suffered with Christ and with him are now glorified. Criticisms. Samuel Bacciocchi raises two main criticisms in his book, The Sabbath Under Crossfire. Moving the Sabbath to Sunday had no historical or biblical backing. There was no liturgical reason to change the day. Historical documents showed the change was instituted by the Bishop of Rome over a century after Jesus' death. The Pope's urging for Christians to strive to ensure the civil legislation respects their duty to keep Sunday holy assumes Sunday keeping is a moral imperative and therefore should be supported by civil legislation. Conclusion. The encyclical was written to urge society to rediscover the faith and to show the importance of Sunday. To overlook the need to go to Sunday Mass would cause a loss of solidarity in the Church, absence of joy from good works, and most importantly, people will get locked within a horizon so limited that they can no longer see the heavens.